Morning students, this is your 10th standard science 2 unit 15 nervous system. In today's session we are going to study the nervous system part 2. Before going into today's session, let's recall the previous session. In previous session we have studied introduction, nervous system, structure of neuron, types of neurons, neuron functions, types of nerve fibers, transmission of nerve impulse and neurotransmitters. Introduction, we have found out how stimulus and response takes place, nervous system and structure of neuron, axon dendrites we have studied, types of neurons unipolar, bipolar and multipolar, neuron functions that is sensory and motor, types of nerve fibers is myelinated nerve fiber and non-myelinated nerve fiber. Transmission of nerve impulse, in that we have studied neurotransmitters. They will be passing message from one neuron to the other to reach the correct position and to give correct action. So this was the recall session. Now let's go into today's session. Today's session topics are human nervous system, that is CNS, central nervous system, PNS, peripheral nervous system, ANS, autonomic nervous system. We are going to study cerebrospinal fluid and reflex action. So, human nervous system introduction. The complexity of nervous system can be observed during the course of evolution. We the human beings differ from other animals in our ability to think and take actions, which is due to the well-developed nervous system. Due to the well-developed nervous system in only human beings, we are able to think and to remember everything. Human nervous system is differentiated into three types. CNS, central nervous system, which acts as a center for information processing and control. It consists of brain and spinal cord. So, central nervous system is the main part which takes the information, which controls the information. It is containing brain and spinal cord. PNS, peripheral nervous system. It is made up of nerves which connect the brain and the spinal cord to all parts of the body. So, PNS nervous system is connected to brain and spinal cord. The nerves which are present in brain and spinal cord are being spread by these nervous system to all over the body. ANS, autonomic nervous system. It is formed of sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves, that is, we are not involved in this. The digestion, the excretory, the circulatory, blinking of eyes, which all is happening in our body without our involvement, is said to be autonomic nervous system, that is automatic nervous system. First one is central nervous system, CNS. CNS is formed of two types of matter, such as white matter or grey matter. As we have studied in previous nerve fibers, due to the presence and absence of myelin sheath on the neuron, the white color and grey color matter is formed in the central nervous system. CNS is covered by three connective tissues, meninges or membranes. Central nervous system is having three connective tissues. They are dura mater, arachnoid membrane and pia mater. Dura mater, you can see in the diagram, it is a tough membrane, and arachnoid membrane, you can see it is like spider web. Pia mater is a soft membrane which is present in the central nervous system. These are the three connective tissues present in the central nervous system, which are connected to skull and the brain. They are present between the skull and the brain. CNS is divided into brain and spinal cord. CNS is divided or present in brain and spinal cord. They both are connected and together known as central nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord, being delicate vital structures, are well protected in bony cavity of the skull. The skull is protecting the spinal cord and the brain. And the vertebral column, that is our backbone respectively, is protecting our spinal cord. CNS is formed of two types of matter such as white matter and grey matter with respect to the presence or absence of myelin sheath, which we have discussed earlier. So now we will be studying about the first central nervous system part is brain. The human brain is formed of three main parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain consists of cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. Midbrain, it is located between thalamus and hindbrain. Hindbrain contains cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. These are the parts which are present in the three main parts of the brain. Now let's see one by one with the help of these diagram. First one is forebrain. What do you have in the forebrain? Cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus, the upper part. Cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. This is said to be forebrain. Are you clear, students? The yellow color, the big yellow color is said to be cerebrum. Below that blue color is thalamus and hypothalamus, which I have marked now. Let us see what actually they do. Cerebrum. It is the largest portion, forming nearly 2/3 of the brain. The cerebrum is longitudinal, divided into two halves as right and left cerebral hemisphere. If you see the diagram, it will be in the form of two halves. This is said to be left and this is said to be right cerebellum. Two cerebral hemispheres are interconnected by thick band of nerve fibers called corpus callosum. The outer portion of the cerebral hemisphere is formed of grey matter. Underline this in your textbook, grey matter, and it is called cerebral cortex, the outer lining, grey matter. The cortex is extremely folded, forming elevations called gyri. Elevations means these foldings, the lines you can see in the yellow color, these are said to be gyri, with depressions between them. Depressions means foldings, bendings, called sulci, sulci, that increases its surface area. It increases the surface area. Each cerebral hemisphere is divisible into frontal lobe. Here one lobe is there, no, this is frontal lobe, and a parietal lobe and temporal lobe and an occipital lobe. The lobes are divided 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 lobes are present in this cerebellum. These lobes are also known as cerebral lobes and are associated with specific functions. Any damage in specific lobe in return affects its function. There are 4 lobes as we have studied. If anything is damaged or hit to the brain, that function will be stopped. The cerebrum is responsible for the, underline this one, thinking, intelligence, consciousness, memory, imagination, reasoning and willpower. This is the main part of our brain which help us to think, consciously, memory, imagination we can do, we can give reasoning, we have willpower, we have intelligence to study good. Next is thalamus. Thalamus is present in cerebral medulla, the blue color over here. Medulla is a major conducting center for sensory and motor signaling. Thalamus is used for sensory and motor. Sensory means whatever sense organs, this is being worked with the help of thalamus in our brain. Whatever you taste, whatever you see, whatever you smell, these all are indicated by thalamus in the brain. And motor signaling means using your muscles. The physical action you are doing is done by thalamus. Hypothalamus. Next is hypothalamus. We are talking about forebrain only till now. Hypothalamus. It lies at the base of the thalamus. It lies at the base of the thalamus. It controls involuntary functions. Underline this, involuntary functions like hunger. You feel hungry, but that is not your work. Automatically your body will indicate that you are hungry, now you need to have something. Automatically you feel thirsty. Automatically you feel sleep, sweating, anger, fear, water balance, blood pressure. The involuntary, automatically whatever happens in our body is done by hypothalamus. It also controls the temperature of our body. It controls the secretion of hormones from glands. So hypothalamus is just present below the thalamus. This is involved in the control functions of involuntary actions like hungry, sweating, angry, scared, fear, thirsty. These all are done by hypothalamus. This is forebrain. Next is midbrain. What it is? Midbrain. Midbrain is nothing but it is located between the thalamus and the hindbrain. So the dorsal portion of the midbrain consists of 4 rounded bodies called corpora quadrigemina that control visual and auditory reflexes. Midbrain controls the vision, whatever you are seeing, and your auditory means whatever you are talking, it should be very clear to the person who is listening. Now I am telling lesson to you. That means my audio should be very clear that you should understand the topic which I am telling to you. So this all is being controlled by midbrain. Hindbrain. Hindbrain, it is formed of 3 parts. Hindbrain is formed of 3 parts, that is cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. These 3 are belonging to hindbrain. Each one is having a specific function. Let us see what are they. Cerebellum, the yellow color you can see, this is cerebellum. It is the second largest part of the brain, formed of 2 large sized hemisphere and middle vermis. It coordinates voluntary movement and also maintains body balance. Voluntary movement means you are walking, you are seeing, you are writing, reading, whatever you order your body to do, that is being controlled by cerebellum. Pons, a Latin word meaning bridge, the green color. It is a bridge of nerve fiber that connects the lobe of cerebellum. It is connected. See, the cerebellum is connected to the pons. It really signals between the cerebellum spinal cord. It gives signals to the cerebellum, spinal cord, midbrain and cerebrum. It controls respiration and sleep cycle. It controls respiration, breathing and sleep cycle. Medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the posterior end most part of the brain that connects the spinal cord and various parts of the brain. It has a cardiac centers, respiratory centers, vasomotor centers to control heartbeat, respiration and contraction of blood vessels respectively. Medulla oblongata is connected to the spinal cord, and this spinal cord nerves are spread all over our body. So this plays an important role for our heartbeat, respiration, digestion, blood vessels, movement of blood. Everything is rotated and done by medulla oblongata. It also regulates vomiting and salivation. Salivation means production of saliva. Are you clear, students? Yes. The brain of the nervous system, central nervous system, has been clearly explained now. Now we will see the easy way to learn about the overview of brain functions, which is present in your textbook. Please put a star mark on that. Structure, first one, cerebral cortex. What is the function of this? Sensory, control of voluntary functions, language, thinking, memory. Thalamus act as relay station. Relay station means sensory and motor signals. Hypothalamus, temperature control, thirst, hunger, urination, important link between nervous system and endocrine glands. Cerebellum, maintains of posture and balance, coordinate voluntary muscle activity. Pons and medulla, role in sleep-awake cycle, cardiovascular, respiratory and digestive control center. Sleep-awake means you are sleeping at 10 o'clock, getting at 6 o'clock. The control between the sleep and awake is done by medulla oblongata. Are you clear, students? Yes. Next is spinal cord. This is belonging to again to central nervous system only. We are studying the two parts of the central nervous system. The first one is brain and the second one is spinal cord. Brain we have studied with the help of a diagram. Now we are studying the spinal cord. What is a spinal cord? Spinal cord is a cylindrical structure lying in the neural canal of the vertebral column. Our spinal cord is present in our backbone. It is also covered by meninges. Meninges means membranes. It extends from the lower end of medulla. Do you remember? It extends from the lower end of the medulla oblongata to the first lumbar vertebra, the below the back end backbone. Till there the spinal cord will be spread. The posterior most region of spinal cord tapers into a thin fiber threads like structures called filum terminal. The threads will be coming out which will be present in all over the body. They are said to be filum terminal. Internally, the spinal cord contains a cerebrospinal fluid. It contains cerebrospinal fluid cavity known as central canal. Is known as central canal. The grey matter of spinal cord, the grey matter of this dark color H shape. The grey matter of spinal cord is H shaped. The upper end of the letter H, forms posterior horn. The lower end of the H forms anterior horn. A bundle of fibers passes into the posterior horn forming dorsal root. Fibers are passing, the yellow color fibers are passing out. The two roots join. Can you see the red and blue color lines are joined? This joined area is said to be spinal nerve. The two fibers are joined at one point, that is said to be spinal nerves. The white matter is external and have bundle of nerve tracks. The white matter, this all is white matter. The dark color is the grey matter. The white matter is having many bundles of nerves. Spinal cord, what is the function of spinal cord? It conducts sensory and motor impulses. Sensory means senses. What you are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are talking, what you are smelling, what you are eating. This all is being controlled by the spinal cord. It controls reflex action of the body voluntarily. Now you want to drink water. You will be taking the bottle, opening the cap and making the muscles to take the bottle near your mouth. This is all is done by reflex action, means blinking of eyes, sneezing, coughing. This all is done by spinal cord. Are you clear, students? Yes. Next is, as we have seen in spinal cord, cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is there. The brain is suspended in a special fluid. It is suspended. The brain is floating in a fluid environment called cerebrospinal fluid. It is lymph-like watery fluid that surrounds and protects the brain within the skull. Inside the skull there is a fluid, watery content, that is cerebrospinal fluid, which is protecting the brain within the skull. It also fills the central canal of the spinal cord. What is the function of this liquid? It acts as a shock absorbing fluid and protects the brain from damaging when it is subjected to sudden jerk. When you feel scared, suddenly the body will get shaken. So those type of shaking or those type of threats should not reach the brain and damage the brain. For that reason, this fluid will protect the brain and neglect those type of scariness. If you feel scared, your heart starts pumping but not your brain. If you fell down, your body starts shivering but not your brain. It supplies nutrients to the brain. This fluid will supply nutrients to the brain. It collects and removes waste from the brain. That is also one system, that is collecting the waste. It means our system is working, brain is working. It collects and removes the waste. It is also responsible for maintaining a constant pressure inside the cranium. Normal pressure. It will be maintaining a normal pressure in the skull, in the brain, that the brain doesn't get damaged by itself. It will be maintaining the brain in a proper condition, and this is maintained by the fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. Next one is, we have completed central nervous system, that is the brain and the spinal cord. Now the next nervous system is peripheral nervous system. What actually is peripheral nervous system? Peripheral nervous system is formed by the nerves arising from the brain and the spinal cord. See, central nervous system means only brain and spinal cord are present. But peripheral nervous system, the brain and spinal cord are connected together with the help of nerves called peripheral nervous system. The nerves arising from the brain are called cranial nerves. Nerves arising from spinal cord are called spinal nerves. Cranial nerves are 12 pairs of nerves which are present near the brain. Spinal nerves are 31 pairs of nerves which are present in the spinal cord. Let's see with the help of example what actually their function is. Cranial nerves. In man, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Some of the cranial nerves are sensory. Example, optic nerve which innervate the eye. Some are motor nerves which help in rotation of the eyeball. It also innervates the eye muscles. Muscle of iris and tear glands are also present here. Cranial nerves mostly present in the vision area. Spinal nerves. Spinal nerves, there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Each spinal nerve, you can see the yellow color spreading all over the body, and this pink color is the spinal cord and the vertebra connected to the brain. Each spinal nerve has a dorsal sensory root and the ventral motor root. The direction of, you can see the electric currents passing. The direction of impulses in dorsal spinal root is towards the spinal cord. From bottom to above it will go. Then in ventral spinal cord, the signals will be passing from spinal cord to the body. In dorsal, the signals are returned back to the body, then again come back to the body. Did you understand? From dorsal, what happens? The signals will be going towards the spinal cord. In ventral, it will be coming out of the spinal cord. Next is ANS, autonomic nervous system. Autonomic means automatic. It is also called as visceral nervous system because as it regulates the function of internal visceral organs of our body. It controls the function of the internal organs of the body automatically. We don't say our heart to pump now, stop now. That will be doing its duty. We don't tell our stomach to digest our food. That will be doing our duty. Our lungs will be breathing. Our excretory system will be purifying the blood. Everything, the small intestine, the large intestine, the stomach, liver, everything is doing its work properly by the help of autonomic nervous system. This nervous system is regulating the internal organs to work. And this is of two types, sympathetic and parasympathetic. What is the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic means? Sympathetic, they at one point of second, the saliva production will not be there. You don't feel thirsty. Sometimes the digestion, after digesting the food, the stomach will be resting. Sympathetic. Parasympathetic, it starts functioning. Resting, functioning, resting, functioning. So sympathetic is nothing but it takes rest. Parasympathetic, it does action. So to maintain these two properly in a proper way, autonomic nervous system works. It takes place in our body. Are you clear, students? Yes. Next is the last topic of the lesson is reflex action. By the word only you can understand, that is reflection. A reflex is any response that occurs automatically without consciousness. There are two types. Without our consciousness, the actions we are doing will be coming out. Whatever we do, it will be coming out. Now I am telling you the lesson. Some must be underlining in the textbook. Some must be drinking water. So these type of actions are being done without our consciousness. Simple, there are two types. Simple or basic reflexes, acquired or conditioned reflexes. Simple or basic reflexes, the example is sneezing, yawning, coughing, etc. Because these reflexes are inbuilt and unlearned responses. We don't learn how to sneeze. Automatically it will come. The baby can also sneeze. Many of the actions we perform in our day-to-day life are simple reflexes. We blink our eyes. Our parents didn't teach us how to blink our eyes. Automatically our body does that. We cough, we sneeze, we yawn. Yawning means during sleeping you open your mouth, right? Like that, yawning. Acquired or conditioned reflexes is playing guitar. Condition means you are telling your muscle to do a particular action. For example, now I am telling you a lesson and telling you to underline the point. What you will do, you will tell your hand muscle to hold the pencil go to the textbook, go to that page number or turn the page, go to that point, and you are telling your hand to underline that point what ma'am is telling. So this is acquired reflexes, means you are ordering your muscles to do. So this is said to be acquired. Are you clear with the simple and acquired reflexes? Yes. Next is reflex arc. Reflex arc, the action, the pathway taken by nerve impulse to reflex action is said to be reflex arc. Now let us understand how the body executes reflex action when we touch a hot plate. Stimulus and response. It happens like this. When we touch a very hot pan, the stimulus is the heat which is sensed by a receptor called heat receptor in our hand. This is called stimulus. Then after it reaches, the sensory neuron transmits or conveys the message to the spinal cord. The spinal cord interrupts. Suddenly it will come out and say what happened. And stimulus and the impulse is passed to the neuron, which in turn transmit to the motor neuron. So from sensory neuron it will go to the spinal cord and it will indicate to the brain also that there is something wrong. Within fraction of second this action will happen. No need to count also, not even a second it will take time. Suddenly everything will happen. The hand is touching the hot pan, suddenly the hand is receiving the heat, means sensory neuron gets triggered, and then it will go to spinal cord and say that there is something problem over there. Spinal cord will indicate the brain to send a message to the motor neuron. Motor neuron is nothing but the muscle, and when the brain is sending the message to the motor neuron, that will activate the muscle near the hand, telling that remove the hand from the hot pan. Muscle in our arm contracts and we withdraw, we remove our hand immediately from the pan. Yes or no? When you hold a hot pan, suddenly we will remove, but in that action also this much procedure is being going inside our body. So this is reflex action with reflex arc. I hope you are clear with all the topics in today's session of nervous system part 2. After the lesson, I just want to give you an activity which is in your book. Alphabets are given below, numbers are also mentioned here. To each alphabet, numbers are given. By seeing the numbers, you put the alphabet over here and complete the paragraph. Take a picture and send it to your class teacher or send it to me. Next, after the lesson, exercise. Expand CNS, PNS, ANS. Define reflex action. Write the functions of cerebrospinal fluid. Write about the structure and function of the brain. Write a note on spinal cord with labeled diagram. Students, write down these questions in your Science 2 classwork and try to answer them by seeing this video as well as with the help of the textbook. In the next session, we will meet with a new lesson.